By Sri Lanka's best internet package for online learning and online working with many amazing offers. Call 1212 for more information. Sri Lanka Telecom.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, controversy reigns. Manusha Nanayakara calls for controversial Vigneshwaran comments from the previous day to be struck from the Hansard, while Vigneshwaran himself accuses the president of neglecting Tamil aspirations.
That it puts forward a centralized perspective of a government of the Sinhala Buddhists, by the Sinhala Buddhists, for the Sinhala Buddhists.
And Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam calls for focus on Northern Tamil identity.
When it comes to international relations, sovereignty comes with certain baggage. Sovereignty can never be a defense.
Ostrich mentality. The Easter PCOI told of how national security bigwigs chose to belittle foreign red alerts of imminent suicide attacks. Development ready. Digging of Mutwal rainwater drainage tunnel completes.
Last 6-7 months we lost time to some extent. However, now that things are settling down, we have started moving at the pace the president wants.
All that and much more coming up on First at 9, this Friday the 21st of August 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
Nava sunlight sakura. Then dikukal pavatina sakura mal suandin.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhamke Knaga. Let's start with some good news. There won't be any power cuts from today. Now that's out of the way. Let's continue with the rest. The government's policy manifesto presented by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to the 9th Parliament of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka was passed without a vote in Parliament today. Meanwhile, during today's session, MP Manusha Nanayakara called on the Speaker to strike the remarks made by parliamentarian and former Northern Chief Minister C.V. Vigneshwaran from the Hansard, given their divisive nature. Vigneshwaran, however, was undeterred and cautioned the President, insinuating that India should be made part of the new Constitution's formation, reminding the House that the 13th Amendment was a product of an agreement with neighbouring India. Meanwhile, another Northern parliamentarian, Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam, says that the President's interpretation of the public mandate does not extend as far as the Northern and Eastern provinces.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි අපි පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ දිවුරුම් දෙද්දී මේ රටේ වෙනම රාජ්‍යයක් සකස් කිරීම ඒ වගේම ඊට අනුබල දීම ඒ වගේම ඒ සඳහා මුදලින් හෝ අනියමින් ආධාර අනුබල දීම පිළිබඳව අපි සිදු කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා මේ සභාවේ අපි දිවුරුවා. නමුත් ඊයේ විග්නේශ්වරන් මන්ත්‍රීවරයා මේ ගරු පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ නැවත වතාවක් දෙමළ භාෂාව මේ රටේ මුල්ම භාෂාව සහ නිජ භූමිය කරගත් මුල්ම ජනතාවගේ භාෂාව හැටියට මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සඳහනක් කරා. ඒ සඳහන මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ හැන්සාඩ් ගත වීම වැරදි. තම තමන්ට මත තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා කරුණා කරලා ඒක හැන්සාඩ් එකෙන් ඉවත් කරන්න කියලා මම ගරු ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා.
ඒක නම් මම සොයා බලන්න. He wishes to do away with the 19th Amendment and he also wishes to introduce a new constitution. It is not clear whether he means to do away with all the good features of the 19th Amendment or whether he wants to retain some of the good features and do away with features which he feels is obnoxious. I would like the government members to clarify these issues so that we will have more clarity. When we talk about one country, one law, what does His Excellency the President mean by saying so? Is he, in a sense, trying to go against what he have already said in his policy statement? Let me read this. බුද්ධාගමට ප්‍රමුඛත්වය තහවුරු කරන අතරම මේ රටේ ඕනෑම පුරවැසියෙකුට Taman කැමති ආගමක් ඇදහිීමේ නිදහස වඩාත් හොඳින් සුරක්ෂිත වී ඇති බව ජනතාවට මේ වන විට පැහැදිලි. Having said this, he also talks about one country, one law. In a country with diverse communities, with their different faith systems, we have over a period of time enacted laws to permit those communities in their private lives, such as marriage, divorce and such other matters. We have had separate laws which have facilitated their own systems of law to prevail. But unfortunately, there appears to be a perception that to permit such diversity, their own systems should be done away with for the common good of the entire country. And this is a totally lopsided view in imposing uniformity while paying lip service to diversity.
මට පුදුමේ මේකයි. අපි 19 වෙනි සංශෝධනයේ ඉදිරිපත් කරනකොට මුළු පාර්ලිමේන්තුව ඡන්දෙ දුන්නා. එක മന്ത്രിවරයෙක් හැරෙන්න එක්සත් ජනතා නිදහස් සන්ධානයේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම සහයෝගය දුන්නා. ඉතින් මං අහන්නේ ගරු අගමැතිතුමාගෙන් මේ විදියට සහයෝගය දීලා ඇයි මේක අහෝසි කරන්නේ?
එතුමලා පොරොන්දු වුණා මැතිවරණ ක්‍රමය වෙනස් කිරීම ඊළඟ සුමානේ ගේනවා කියලා. එහෙම බොරු කරලා ඉවරලා රවට්ටලා ඡන්දෙ ගත්තේ.
ඊළඟ සුමානේන පරත්තලට අත්උස්සන්නේ නැහැ. අත්උස්සන්නේ මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉදිරිපත් කළා තියෙන පරතකට. දෙන්නකාසි නැහැ. ඉතින් ස්වාධීන කමිෂන් ටික අහෝසි කරනවද? මොකද 19 අහෝසි කරනවා කියන්නේ ස්වාධීන කමිෂන් අහෝසි. ඒ වගේම ඊයේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා කිව්වා එක රටක් එක නීතියක් කියලා. ඉතින් මේ කොහොමද කරන්නේ? යාපටේ තියෙනවා තේසවලම නීතිය, උඩරට බලාත්වල උඩරට සිංහල නීතිය, පාතර රෝමානු ලන්දේසි නීතිය, මුස්ලිම් නීතිය, නැගිරිර පළාතේ බුක්කුවා නීතිය. ඉතින් මේව හවුසි කරනවද? ඉතින් එක රටක් එක නීතියක් ඔය කී විදියට කරන්න බෑ. උදාර බලාපොරොත්තු තියෙන එක වෙන වැඩක්. අපි ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන සාර්ථක වේවා කියලා.
The most glaring aspect of the policy statement is that it puts forward a centralized perspective of a government of the Sinhala Buddhists, by the Sinhala Buddhists, for the Sinhala Buddhists. There is no reference to the decades-old problems of the Tamil-speaking denizens of the North and East. It would have been ideal if His Excellency would have had a holistic attitude toward the island, keeping in mind the necessity to view the problems of the periphery from the standpoint of subsidiarity. We are in total agreement with him in saying our duty and responsibility is not to distribute job opportunities but to generate them. We agree that our basic aim should be to strengthen the local economy. We agree that we should assist local entrepreneurs to use modern technology for the value addition. We agree the production of toxin-free foods and ensuring total organic farming in Sri Lanka is an urgent necessity. And we also welcome state ministers being given monetary provisions required to implement development projects. This in effect is a principle of subsidiarity. We fully agree with the steps to be taken to completely eradicate waste and corruption in all ministries and institutions. Let me come to our reservations. His Excellency says he will not violate the trust placed on him by his voters. That is an admirable sentiment, but while carrying out his responsibilities, he must be aware of the checks and balances placed on him by law and social expectations. When His Excellency brings an end to the existing constitution, he must realize the 13th Amendment therein was inserted under an agreement reached with a sovereign country at that time, representing the interests of an important section of our citizenry. Hence, that country, namely India, must be a party to any attempt to delete the 13th Amendment inserted consequent to an international agreement. He cannot put away the 13th Amendment arbitrarily. His Excellency says he represents the aspirations of the majority. Does that mean he will take into account the aspirations of the majority of the North and East, namely the Tamil-speaking areas, in dealing with our matters and affairs? Otherwise, it would be amount to arbitrary hegemony of the majority of the country over the majority of the North and East.
His Excellency the President is correct in interpreting that mandate for his party. It will not be correct for him to say that that mandate extends to the North and East. In the North East, the mandate that was given unanimously was for Tamil rights to be recognized. Tamil rights means that our identity has to be recognized, that Sri Lanka is a plurinational country, our status has to be equal, and that along with that status, constitutional amendments have to be made recognizing the right to self-determination was unanimously expressed in the last elections in the North and the East. That mandate cannot be violated. His Excellency spoke of sovereignty and that under no circumstances will he allow the sovereignty of the country to be compromised. That is correct. But what he must also realize is that when it comes to international relations, sovereignty comes with certain baggage. One of the most cornerstone principles on which sovereignty will be compromised is if within the country the state does not protect its own citizens, sovereignty can never be a defense. This country has gone through a war. The whole world says that heinous crimes have been committed and the state is
the number one accused party. Without accountability and being prepared to address those issues, you can never.
And the experts have said that there's no war crimes have been committed. So he's lying in this chamber.
2005 මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයා බලයට එන විට මේ රටේ රාජ්‍ය ණය තිබුණේ රුපියල් බිලියන 2200යි. 2014 වෙනිදා ණය ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි වෙලා තිබුණා. විශාල සංවර්ධනයක සමග රුපියල් බිලියන 4400ට. ඒ ණය ප්‍රමාණය 2019 අවසානයේ රුපියල් බිලියන 13000ක දක්වා තවත් රුපියල් බිලියන 5600කින් අවුරුදු 5ක් තුළ වැඩි වෙලා තිබුණා මේ.
Please wind up.
මේ මාස 6ට රුපියල් මිලියන 900 ගානකින් ඔබලාගේ රජය විසින් ණය ගත්තා. ඒ ගත්තේ පරණ ණය ගෙවන්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර අපි ණය ගත්තෙත් ඔබලාගේ ආණ්ඩුවෙන් ගත්ත ණය ගෙවන්න.
අලුතෙන් කරන්නේ රුපියල් බිලියන 13900 ඇතුලේ තියෙන තමුන්නාන්සලාගේ ණය. ඒ රුපියල් බිලියන 900න් 875ක්ම තමුන්නාන්සලාගේ කාලය වගේ.
132ක් අපේ බලශක්තිය ඩීසල් වලින් නිර්මාණය වෙන්නේ. ඒක මාෆියා. අධ්‍යාපනයට වැය කරන මුදලට කිට්ටු මුදලක් අපි ඩීසල් වලට පුච්චනවා විදුලිය ජනනය කිරීම සඳහා. අපි සෞභාග්‍ය දැක්ම ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනයේ පැහැදිලිව රට පොරොන්දුවක් දෙනවා 2030 වෙනකට පුනර්ජනනීය බලශක්තිය ඇතුලේ අපේ පදාසය 80%කට ගෙනියන්න විදුලි බල ඇමතිවරයා විදියට මම මේ සභාව ඉදිරිපිට මේ රටේ ජනතාවගෙන් සමාව ඉල්ලා හිටිනවා. මම විදුලි බල ඇමතිවරයා විදියට ගරු නියෝජක කතානායකතුමනි මේ බිඳ වැටීම සිද්ධ වෙනකොට පැය 96යි. නමුත් කාගේ අතින් වැරදක් වුණත් ජාතික ආර්ථිකයට සමාජ ජන ජීවිතයට විශාල අභියෝගයක් වුණා පැය 8ක් 9ක් තිස්සේ. නිසා මම විශේෂ භාර ඇමතිවරයා විදියට මේ රටේ ජනතාවගෙන් සමාව ඉල්ලා හිටිනවා ඒ වැරද්ද වෙනුවෙන්.
Enjoy a very smooth shave with the Bic Easy 2 razor. Bic Easy 2.
Now, former State Intelligence Service Director Nilantha Jayawardena told the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Easter Sunday terror attacks that despite detailed information on the locations of Easter attackers Zaran Hashim, his siblings Rilwan and Shaini, and Ami Mohideen were provided the day before the attacks to the IGP, inaction seemed to have been the order of the day. Further, with foreign intelligence sources sounding alarm bells on the 20th of April, warning of imminent attacks on multiple targets, the country's national security top brass, including the Defence Secretary, seem to have been satisfied to simply ignore the seriousness of the threat.
Former State Intelligence Service Director Senior DIG Nilantha Jayawardena testified before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the Easter Sunday attacks for the 15th day yesterday. He revealed that the report was sent to the IGP detailing the whereabouts of Zaran Hashim and his close associates at 12:30 p.m. on April 20th, the day before the deadly attacks. He added that the report included an account by an eyewitness who had observed Zaran Hashim and another individual travelling on a motorcycle on the 29th of March at between 3 and 3:30 p.m. in the Palle Kudeipu area of Akkarepattu. The witness revealed that the information had been provided by an employee of an Arabic school in the area named Shahul Hamid, whose contact details had also been provided to the IGP at the time. Further, the Commission was told that the report sent to the IGP also detailed information on Zaran Hashim's siblings, namely Rilwan, who was known to pay clandestine nighttime visits to his wife and child at a house in Aryampati, and Shaini, who had reportedly visited an individual named Asim in Katankudi on 7th April 2019, seeking a sum of 100,000 rupees to purchase unnamed material for his work. In addition, he revealed that information had also been included on Sadiq Abdul Haq, one of the suspects in the Mavanella Buddha statue vandalism incident, who was reportedly hiding out along with another of Zaran's associates, Ami Mohideen, in Pasikuda. The witness also stated that a copy of the report was also forwarded to the Criminal Investigation Department Senior DIG Ravi Senaviratna the same day. When asked by a commission member if he had spoken to the IGP on the phone after sending the report that day, the witness replied that he did not at the time. The Additional Solicitor General at the commission then asked the witness if he had received the further warning of imminent attacks on 20th April 2019. The witness replied that he had indeed received credible information from two informants on April 20th, warning of an attack on or before April 21st that day. He added that the foreign intelligence source who had provided the first attack warning on 4th April sent him a WhatsApp message on 20th April at 4:12 p.m. The message read, quote, Zaran Hashim, the leader of the National Tawhid Jamaat, and his followers are planning a suicide attack in Sri Lanka. A dry run has been carried out in Panamune, Katankudi by detonating explosives on a motorcycle. An attack could occur at any time on or before April 21st. A church, a hotel and 8 locations frequented by Indian nationals have been selected as targets. This is the latest update I just received from my headquarters, unquote. The witness told the commission that the WhatsApp message was then forwarded at 4:53 p.m. on 20th April to the then Defence Secretary Hemosiri Fernando, the then Chief of National Intelligence Cicero Mendes, IGP Pujit Jayasundara, and the senior DIG in charge of the CID, Ravi Senivairatna. In response to the message, Defence Secretary Hemosiri Fernando messaged back saying, "Duly received." Further, the witness was asked by the retired appeals court judge at the commission whether he had informed the IGP of an imminent attack any time before 21st April. The witness replied that when he did inform the IGP, he was told, "Nilantha, please tell Nandana of this." He added that following this, he then called the Defence Secretary Hemosiri Fernando and told him, quote, "Sir, I informed the IGP and he didn't take this seriously. Could you please speak to him on this?" Unquote. Meanwhile, former Minister of Law and Order Sagala Ratnayaka arrived at the Presidential Commission's Police Investigation Unit today to record a statement. Further, although former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe had been requested to appear before the Commission's police unit today, he failed to make an appearance. He had instead informed the Presidential Commission that he will be appearing instead on the 31st of August. In addition, former President Maithripala Sirisena had been requested to appear before the Police Investigation Unit on the 26th of August. However, the former president has reportedly told the commission that he is unable to do so and instead requested that the unit record the statement at his official residence in Colombo. Hence, the commission's police unit will be doing so on the 26th of this month.
We'll see you shortly after this break. Stay tuned.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with a heart.
Welcome back. You're watching First at Night. Now, the digging of the Mutwal stormwater drainage tunnel was completed today, for which a special breakthrough ceremony was held, which was attended by State Minister of Urban Development, Coast Conservation, Waste Disposal and Public Sanitation, Dr. Nalaka Godaheva. State Minister Dr. Godaheva stated that despite delays since 2015 to projects commencing during President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's tenure as Secretary Defence and Urban Development, all such projects are ready to go full speed ahead under the new government.
Bringing some hope for residents of the North Colombo area from flooding problems during the monsoon period, the breakthrough ceremony for the new Mutwal stormwater drainage tunnel was held today. State Minister of Urban Development, Coast Conservation, Waste Disposal and Public Sanitation, Dr. Nalaka Godaheva, attended the ceremony. The project, which commenced in 2013 during President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's tenure as the country's Secretary of Defence and Urban Development, was implemented at a total cost of 3.45 billion rupees with financial assistance from the World Bank under the Metro Colombo Urban Development Project. The Metro Colombo Urban Development Project includes the development of a network of pumping stations, canal bank protection and drainage tunnels, of which the Mutwal Stormwater Drainage Tunnel is just one of the many measures included in the plan. The length of the tunnel, which passes under the new Mutwal area and opens to the sea near the Mutwal Fisheries Harbour, is 778 metres in length and has the capacity to transport 15,000 litres of water per second into the sea.
We remember decades ago, this was a serious problem and nobody could find a permanent solution for that. It was our current president, Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa, when he was the Secretary of the Ministry of Urban Development, who started a project with the World Bank to find a permanent solution for that. So in somewhere around 2013, a huge project was started and a lot of infrastructure development was done as part of that. So that continued during his tenure very fast and most of the issues are sorted out, but unfortunately things got little delayed during the last government. However, we restarted the whole thing and now we are completing some of the projects that we started in relation to the flood control. There are two main tunnels that were planned as part of this project. One is called the Mutwal Tunnel, the other one is Torrington Tunnel. Mutwal Tunnel is a solution for the flooding in the North Colombo area. So today we are completing or basically digging of this tunnel. So we are now celebrating the completion of that part, and then once this is done, we have to move on to the next one, the Torrington Tunnel. The construction will begin somewhere in October and continue till about March. So we hope to finish the whole thing by about March. In fact, we could have started this earlier if not for the corona problem. As you all know, because of the restrictions in getting down the engineers who are involved in the construction, last 6-7 months we lost time to some extent. However, now that things are settling down, we have started moving at the pace the President wants, and we hope to complete these on time.
Now, in other stories, the Sri Lanka Air Force, along with the Police Special Task Force, today destroyed unauthorized cannabis cultivations in the periphery of the Udawalawa Reserve. 2 helicopters of the Air Force were deployed in the operations. In the meantime, there were more arrests both yesterday and today with regards to the police crackdown on drug racketeering and the underworld.
A suspect was arrested from the area of Galkanda in Negombo yesterday while in possession of 12 grams of heroin. He was apprehended after the Special Crimes Investigation Unit of the Negombo Police was tipped off. Interrogations of the suspect led to the arrest of another suspect who had been in possession of 2 grams of heroin. Further investigations revealed that a sum of 23.8 million rupees had been transacted via the second suspect's bank accounts. The police said that a person named Nawaz, who is currently overseas, is behind the drug racket and that further investigations are being conducted to unravel the drug network. Meanwhile, the Talangama police arrested a couple who were in possession of 170 grams of heroin yesterday. The police also seized 6 mobile phones, a motorcycle and a 3-wheeler which were used in the narcotics racket. The couple's 3 children were also taken into police custody and were placed in the care of the Department of Probation and Childcare Services. In the meantime, the Devila police has uncovered information on a plot of land which had been purchased by formerly arrested drug racketeer Mervyn Jana's sister Manori with the use of ill-gotten spoils of drug racketeering. Elsewhere, the Blumendal police arrested a woman who had 20 grams of heroin in her possession yesterday. In the meantime, a drug racketeer who was in possession of 50 packets of heroin and 100,000 rupees in cash was arrested from the area of Korulavella in Morotua by the Modra police post of Morotua. In a separate development, the Navagama police found 76 live ammunition, 16 9mm ammunition and 20 12-bore ammunition from the Kalani River in the area of Mapitigama in Navagamua after a fisherman tipped off the police. Meanwhile, 8 unauthorized cannabis cultivations identified and confirmed by the Air Force Intelligence Surveillance System were destroyed today. The operation was carried out by the Air Force Special Forces and the Police Special Task Force using a Bell 212 helicopter and a Mi-17 helicopter of the Air Force. The cannabis plantations were found from various locations in the periphery of the Udavalava Reserve.
The Central Working Committee of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has decided to appoint a committee to compile the party's input into the government's proposed constitutional changes. Responding to media questions on the rumoured deputy premiership post for party leader Maithripala Sirisena, former General Secretary Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara revealed that any such future positions could be included in the country's future constitution.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party's first post-election Central Working Committee meeting was held last night under the chairmanship of party leader Maithripala Sirisena.
අපේ බලාපොරොත්තු තියෙනවා ඉදිරියේ ගේන්න හදන ව්‍යවස්ථා සංශෝධනයට පක්ෂීය විදියට අපි අපේ අදහස් යෝජනා ටික ඉදිරිපත් කරන කමිටුවක් පත් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ අනුව ඒ ගේන යෝජනාවලිය පක්ෂීය විදිහට අපි සාකච්ඡා කරලා පක්ෂීය අදහසුත් ඉදිරිපත් කරලා රටට නිවැරදි ව්‍යවස්ථාවක් ගෙනීමේ ක්‍රියාවලියට අපේ ශක්තිය දෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන සඳහා අවශ්‍ය කරන ක්‍රියාදාමයත් ඒ වගේම දේශපාලන තත්ත්වයන් පිළිබඳ සාකච්ඡාවක් තමයි ක්‍රියාත්මක වුණේ.
හිටපු ජනාධිපතිතුමාට කිසිම තනතුරක් හෝ ඇමතිකමක් හෝ මුකුත් හම්බුනේ වෙලත් නැහැ.
ඕනෑ ඒකෙදී අපි යම් එකඟතාවයක් තිබෙනවා අපෝජන පෙරමුණුත් ඒ සම්බන්ධව කතා කරලා තිබුණා. මොකද ඊළඟට තියෙන ව්‍යවස්ථා සංශෝධන ක්‍රියාවලියේදී යම් ස්ථානයක් ලබා දීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය කරන ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ටික ගන්න.
ගේන අලුත් ව්‍යවස්ථාව හරහා නියෝජ්‍ය ආගමිකකමක් වෙනවා කියලා එහෙම නාමයක් යන එකත්
නෑ අපි දන්නේ නෑ මොකද්ද තත්ත්වය කියලා. ඒ සම්බන්ධව සාකච්ඡා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා එන ව්‍යවස්ථා සංශෝධනයත් එක්ක.
ඔබතුමා ආගමික ජනාධිපතිතුමාට සාකච්ඡා කරලා ඇත්තද? ඔබතුමා නියෝජ්‍ය ආගමික වෙනවා කියන්නේ?
Now, in other local stories, Minister of Health Pavitra Devi Vanniyarachchi says that once the World Health Organization approves the COVID-19 vaccine produced by Russia, the vaccine will be used by Sri Lanka. The minister expressed these views while participating in a special meeting with the Russian ambassador to Sri Lanka. In the meantime, a total of 16 COVID-19 patients were reported in the island yesterday. 16 Sri Lankan returnees who were repatriated from Chennai yesterday were diagnosed as COVID-19 positive. In the meantime, 9 COVID-19 patients reported today were identified as returnees from Chennai, the United Arab Emirates and from Turkey. Meanwhile, 24 former COVID-19 patients were given the all-clear to return home today after recovering from the virus. These developments place the country's overall number of active COVID-19 cases at 127, while recoveries now stand at 2,789. We will see you shortly. Bear with us. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, the central bank's inflation report for the month of July says that headline inflation as measured by the year-on-year change in the National Consumer Price Index decreased to 6.1% in July 2020 from 6.3% in June. The report says that this was mainly driven by the statistical effect of the high base that prevailed in July 2020. Meanwhile, year-on-year food inflation decreased to 12.9% in July 2020 from 13.6% in June, whereas year-on-year non-food inflation increased to 1% in July 2020 from 0.8% in June. Meanwhile, the change in the NCPI measured on an annual average basis increased to 5.9% in July 2020 from 5.6% in June. Further, the monthly change of NCPI was recorded at 0% in July 2020, signifying no change. This was due to setting off the price decline of 0.15% in the food category with the price increase observed in non-food category by the same magnitude. Now, Sri Lankan shares rose for a fourth straight session today and recorded their best weekly performance since late June. The benchmark CSE All Share Price Index rose 0.17% to 5,360.28. For the week, the index gained at 2.29%, its fifth straight weekly gain. Lion Brewery plc and Distilleries Company of Sri Lanka plc were the biggest boosts to the index, climbing 7.6% and 4.1% respectively. Equity market turnover was 1.83 billion rupees. Now here's a brief report on today's market performance.
The market moved into positive territory for the fourth consecutive day with the support of high net worth individuals and retailers coming in a big way with a strong buying interest to some of the mid caps and the blue chip stocks. We saw the SPI move up by 22 points while the S&P SL20 also move up by 22 points. The turnover level again saw a sharp increase with the turnover coming into 1.8 billion rupees, where we've seen high level of turnover throughout the week now. Mostly the turnover was boosted by Sampath Bank, John Keel's Holdings, where there were a number of crossings that took place during the day.
Now, the Sri Lankan rupee closed strong at 184 rupees and 5 cents against the US dollar today in the spot market, while bond yields eased. Now, the rupee closed at 185 rupees and 27 cents against the greenback yesterday. Let's see how it fared during the day. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.